under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the renewed HOP agenda, we continue to implement policies that reduce poverty, strengthen social protection, and build resilience among vulnerable Nigerians. Central to this effort is our flagship National Coordination Framework, the One Humanitarian, One Poverty Response System, OHOPRS, which harmonizes humanitarian action, social protection, and poverty reduction under a single window architecture. OHOPRS breaks institutional silos and brings federal and state governments, development partners, UN agencies, civil society organizations, and the private sector together to deliver coordinated, accountable support. A key innovation within the OHOPRS is the National Poverty Intelligence Lab, the evidence and data backbone of the system. The National Poverty Intelligence Lab strengthens Nigeria's capacity to generate and analyze multidimensional poverty data in real time, sharpening program targeting accountability, directly advancing the cooperation frameworks, commitment to data-driven, result-based development. These reforms complement the work of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, which continues to coordinate SDG localization and implementation across all tiers of government in partnership with MDAs, states, development partners, academia, and private sector. The renewed HOPE agenda and the 2030 agenda share a common purpose: eradicating poverty, expanding healthcare and education, strengthening food security and WASH, empowering women and youth, and building resilient, inclusive communities. Our ministry advances this through humanitarian assistance, livelihood restoration, social investment, and disaster risk reduction, recognizing that today's challenges demand stronger partnerships, evidence-based planning, and coordinated action. We deeply appreciate the continued support of the UN system, our bilateral and multilateral partners, civil society, and private sector. Your technical expertise and financial commitment remain indispensable to improving the lives of millions of Nigerians. As we review the cooperation framework today, I encourage us to deepen institutional collaboration, mobilize innovative financing, share knowledge, and leverage technology and data to accelerate progress on the SDGs. I am confident this steering committee will yield practical recommendations that strengthen policy coherence and deepen our collective impact.
Of you will recall the UN steering UNSDCF 2023-2027 was jointly developed by the government of Nigeria and the UN country team, bringing together UN agencies in support of our national development priorities and the Sustainable Development Goals. It is in every sense a shared instrument, one that reflects Nigeria's ambition for its development, as much as it reflects the collective effort of the United Nations partners. The Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning is honored to serve as co-chair to this steering committee, a role that speaks to the central place of planning, budgeting, and result-based coordination in ensuring that the cooperation framework translates into real and measurable impact for our people. Our shared responsibility on this committee is to provide strategic direction, to monitor progress, and to hold ourselves accountable for the delivery of the outcomes we have jointly committed to. 2030 is around the corner, and for the United Nations as well as for many countries, there is urgency, there is the need to do more in the very short time that remains for the Sustainable Development Goals to realize or to be as much as possible achieved. And this is all in a changing world where the UN system is facing its own challenges. The development effort generally is facing changes, both predicted and otherwise unpredicted. Multilateralism is being stressed by a number of challenges, both global and regional. And therefore, all this impacts on the way we intended the commitments to be delivered.
As you have seen, this is a steering committee meeting of the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2023 to 2027. This brings all the UN agencies together, the government and various stakeholders to work together to ensure the achievement of the SDGs. Yes, 2030 is around the corner. The government is taking every effort, making every effort, working with key stakeholders to ensure that we fast-track achievement of the SDGs. Obviously, the challenges are numerous, and as you will see, the scale, and especially in Nigeria, the scale is so much. And you look at the various indices, and as such, you require sustainable financing. You require all the stakeholders working together to ensure that there is effectiveness in our approach and in our delivery. And so one of the key reasons for this steering committee is to ensure that that cooperation is reignited so that we can work together. Systems can talk together. The different interventions can talk with one another to ensure that we achieve the SDG goals. The framework is very key. You will need government, domestic resource mobilization. As you are aware of the challenges that is currently ongoing internationally with reduced funding, and so we will be encouraging our international partners to give more, so that as government mobilize local resources or domestic resources, together we can then be able to achieve. By giving you an actual figure might not be the right thing at the moment. Thank you very much.
Nigeria also is being shocked by so many factors, sometimes internal, sometimes external, that you can see that in many aspects also the goal are experiencing setback. Now, the conversation of today should be, how are we going to address this? To make sure, as the Honorable Minister of State was saying, that we walk the talk, but not talk the talk. Make sure that the window we are left is so critical that all we need is what we call speed and scale. In Nigeria, you can be successful on everything you do in terms of speed. But when you don't go at scale, and given the size of the population, given the rapid demographic growth of the population, you will not be where you want it to be.